Hey, WIFEY, anything you can give me a lift? And that turtle's going to be getting it out of here. So I don't want to have this thing trying to find that battery. See, a lot has changed. My still going. We're leaking out of some shit. Let's get back to the show. Alright boys, welcome back. Now, I'm going to be working on this thing today. And one thing I want to do is sort out the bonnet. So the lights behind, it's going to be hard to see. But you can see all the engine bay is car builders texture coating. So, but the bonnet is not. So I've already cleaned the bonnet, but I'm going to pull it off today and then paint that in the texture coating as well. So that way when you open the bonnet, everything looks nice. So she's looking pretty good now. Everything's mounted. The motor still needs to come out, but we're going to pull that off. We're going to paint the underside of the bonnet, and then we're going to paint a few bits of trim. Yeah, that one. So let's get this bonnet off, throw it on my purposely made stand, and we'll get to painting. Now this next part is pretty hard by yourself, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm sure everyone's going to be asking why it sits so low and doesn't like point all the way up. That's the way I made it, so that way when you pop the bonnet, only a small gap, but I wanted it to sit low so that way it sort of looks good and different, I guess. Let's see if we can drop the bonnet. Looks even better without the bonnet on there. Just leave it off. Bonnet's there. One thing I've set up in my shed that is absolutely awesome, and I love it because the compressor is on the other side. I have a friend. Name's Alexa. Turn the compressor on. One thing that's really cool about my shed, and I've always wanted to do it, is turning stuff on. So I got my buddy over here. She controls pretty much everything in the shed. So when I say, Alexa, turn the compressor on.
Okay.
Shut up. Anyway, you get the picture. Alexa, shut up. Bloody hell. She's got a back chatting problem, I tell you, but she's good. All right, so we got to clean all the dirt out of this. I don't know why there's so much dirt in it. Probably when it rained and the dust. But yes, start sanding this up, take out the strut mounts, and get some painting happening. Yes. Ready? Oh, you see that? One-handed. I'm trying to film and do everything one-handed. Sucks. Alright, so what we're using is the same stuff I painted the engine bay with, which is the car builder's texture coating. Seems to work. It's held up against my abuse putting the motor in, so I can't see why it wouldn't make a good underlay for the bonnet. And also while we're doing these, I have a couple other bits that I wanted to do, and I think they are in here. There you are. So I'll throw these in the sandblaster. I'll just give them a quick clean, and I'll buff this up with the sander. And in this box, they're not in here. There they are. So we've already given them a sand. Get some wax and grease remover on them. Buff up this a bit so it looks good, and we'll get the painting. I'm going to skip the sanding bit because that bit's boring. All right, so all sanded, wax and grease removed it, and now I'm going to put those trim pieces on this section here, and then spray them all together, and hopefully it turns out all right. The stuff's pretty good, so even if you miss a couple of spots sanding, I haven't had a problem yet. But try and do your best, and when you go too deep with the sander, just spray a little bit of etch primer on it so that way it's protected and it won't rust. But we're going to put this down. We're going to get the spray. Tell you what, absolutely love this style of paint tin. Mix it up. Take lid off. Pull your bung out. Break the bung so you can't get it out.
Don't do that.
There's a foil inside and you just pop it through and do her up. And then you get the painting. There you go. Quick, easy job for the afternoon. And that way, it's pretty much just going to be all the trim bits that are going to look good, and then the rest is going to look like garbage. So there's still a lot of work to do. I still got to get that intake piece. I got a 45 coming and a 90, just go straight in. I got to wire up all the fuel system. That's the header tank for the radiator because I'm using a factory BA radiator. And pretty much the outside, got the neg 44s, 33s. That side's probably just going to look like this. So nothing special. Got the EMU wing. Everyone that sees this car, everyone that sees this car and checks out the EMU wing, like, holy hell, that is a big window. And it's a big door. Throwing the seats in for now. I've got a video coming for that, but I had some trouble with putting the seats in, but it turns out all I needed was this bit right here. I didn't know they run like a 2-step seat mount, but I got it now. That's all that matters. Camo steering wheel, same as what was in the Surf, and then just slowly putting the dash back together. And I'm gonna put the gearbox transfer case, not the gearbox, transfer case back in. Don't know what I'm gonna do with the ceiling yet because you can see that middle one's broken, so it's got a bit of a deformity in the roof. Otherwise I'd just leave it. But yes, XR6 seats, which is all coming together. Oh, new door cards. I picked up some ABS door cards. Just bought these handles off eBay and it seems to be coming together quite well. So pretty much all that's left now is to wait for these to dry, give them a good amount of time sitting there, and then pretty much just wiring and shit like that here. So it should be a good time. It's coming together very slowly but nicely, and we'll get it on the road in no time. What do you reckon, babe? Bonnet's all dry, but I'm thinking we put sand deadening under the bonnet to fill in the gaps. So I've cut out all these pieces. All these pieces have a place. But I'm not sure, baby. What do you reckon? Should we do it? It frames it a little bit better. And it will make the bonnet heavier. What do you reckon? You don't know? Is that right? So I think I'm going to stick down all these, and then that'll make the bonnet less drummy. And then if we don't like it, too bad, because it's... Oh, you're going to do it? If we don't like it, too bad, because it's impossible to get off. But I think it'll look smick. All right, we're doing it. We're going to do it, baby. Yeah? While I was waiting for everything to dry. These bits were dried pretty quick, so I stuck them on. And now I'm in two minds whether I want to paint the whole car that colour, because it's just such a nice finish. Let me know, what do you reckon? Because I was just going to wet sand this and then leave it as it is. Oh, probably clear coat it, but now I'm thinking we do the whole thing in the black texture. It looks really good. Alrighty, kiddo, let's get to sticking these on. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it, baby. going to attempt to put the bonnet back on by myself without scratching the paint that I just did. So, and it's going to be heavier now that I've added deadening mat, and I don't think the gas struts are going to work anymore, but if it doesn't, then I'll just have to get better gas struts. So we'll give that a go, and then we'll see how it goes, and we might have to end up buying higher, better gas struts. I was in two minds when it was on the ground, but now seeing it on the car and on that angle, it looks amazing. My fears come true because the gas struts are now not strong enough to hold the bonnet up with the weight. Well, if you think about it, there's a whole tin of paint on there. What does that weigh? Near on a kilo. You think about the paint and then the sound deadening, there was, I think, 4 sheets that went into that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 was enough to do that. Oh, maybe 4.5, maybe 5 with those 2 back there. But it come out pretty damn good. I was gonna put carpet on it, but the kids said, no, don't do that, Dad, so I'm not gonna do it. But yes, we're almost there. I have sent the harness away to Hooten's Harnesses, and they're gonna fix it all up because where I needed it to run along the front and then goes to the factory fuse box, they cut it off when they took the motor out. So we're gonna have to put in another fuse box. So pretty much all that's left in the engine bay wise is to finish the exhaust. So I've started mocking up bits that are over there amongst all the children's toys. Finish the exhaust, run it to the back, do the intake, which is pretty much gonna be an elbow. It comes straight out in stainless and then 45 into this, probably more than 45. But hey, it's an NA, doesn't matter. A lot of people have been saying, why don't you turbo it? Well, I'd love to turbo it, but I want it to be reliable and just go pretty much anywhere I want to go without having to worry about little things going wrong. And the thing I know about turbo cars is there's a lot of pressure on the intake system and everything else, and it can be painful sometimes. I've had a few turbo cars and there's always something that you need to fix on them. Whereas filthy old NA, who cares? And if it blows up, just get another one and put it in. Everything will fit. So I got some new headlights coming. Hopefully they'll get here soon. Then I can start running all the factory GU wires. If you're familiar with GQs, the battery goes about here, but I don't want the battery in the engine bay. I want it to be like all mechanical. So that way the battery's gonna go in the back. So that way all the accessories and everything can run off those 2 batteries and everything's in the cab. And then up here, everything's just what needs to be here. So the list I've got is a clutch fork. If anyone has a clutch fork laying around for a GQ, please let me know because I need one. One that was meant to come with this, I can't find it, so I don't have one. Next up on the list is the indicator. I don't have one of those. I have the key barrel and key, which is a bonus. What else am I missing? But they're the kind of only 2 parts that I really need to finish it off. So clutch fork and the indicator, and then that'll be pretty much be all the pieces I need and we're good to go. Waiting on that harness. Once the harness comes, motor comes back out, harness goes on, hopefully clutch fork goes in, all the clutch lines get run, and then motor goes back in, mount the computer, mount the fuse box, run the intake, finish the exhaust and do the brakes, and then hopefully it's turnkey, away we go. But we're one step closer. I know that's purely cosmetic, but I just cannot tell you how excited I am. That'll be it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. See you next time. See, a lot has changed. We're going. We're leaking out of some shit.